James Dean was more than a rising Hollywood star. He became a legend frozen in time. Famous for his rebellious spirit and iconic roles in Rebel Without a Cause and East of Eden, Dean lived fast both on and off the screen. In 1955, he bought a sleek silver Porsche 550 Spyder that he nicknamed Little Bastard. What began as a symbol of speed and freedom soon became the center of one of Hollywood's darkest legends. After Dean's fatal crash on a California highway, rumors spread that the wrecked car carried a curse, bringing misfortune, injuries, and even death to anyone connected to its remains. Decades later, the mystery of James Dean and his cursed car still fuels one of the most chilling stories in pop culture history.
Hello, friends and family. Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Bazaar. I'm Jessica.
I'm Montana.
And if you're new here, hi, hello. We've been waiting for you.
We've been waiting. On our podcast, we hang out and dive into the bizarre, the spooky, and the things that just feel a little too weird to be coincidence. From true crime and paranormal encounters to unexplained mysteries and everything in between, we cover the stories that don't quite fit in anywhere else. Each week, we take turns doing the deep dive research while the other reacts, speculates, and unpacks the story as being told in real time. So if you like weird shit and chill vibes, you're in the right place. Make sure to follow and subscribe, and we're here every Sunday.
So we have a couple updates just to let you guys know that we were on another podcast again. If you'd like to go and check it out, Occult Rejects with Nick, and we talked about something we've already done on here. So I don't know, maybe the people that missed it on here might want to go over there and check it out. But we did the Soap Lady of Correggio again, and that was a lot of fun. So thanks to Nick. Shout out to his podcast. Love that he likes to have us over there as guests, and we will be going back again by the sounds of things. So that's exciting.
And second update is sorry that the episode for The Wrong Boy came out late and not on its usual Sunday. I don't know what happened. It was scheduled to come out. It took me until Monday to realize it wasn't. So sorry for that delay. That's very frustrating, but it is up there now.
If you've been around a while, you know that we're cursed when it comes to this shit. Just another day in the office. What can I say?
Yeah, I feel like we need to give Two Girls, One Ghost a run for their money.
Something.
Hold our beer, ladies. Hold our beer.
Seriously.
So I think we're just going to dive into this episode now because it's going to be a long one. It's a lot of history. Buckle up. I know that James Dean isn't really our era, but I guess if there's any James Dean fans out there, this episode is for you. And I'm not saying that these stories are true, but I'm not saying they're entirely false either. So you can decide. Like I always say, it's up to you to decide if you think that Little Bastard is cursed or not. I personally think it is in some way. You can't catch me in that car at all. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
So we'll do a little history of James Dean. It's not going to be a full-on biography of James Dean, but I feel like we need to know a little bit about James Dean and his personality because I think that's important. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
On the afternoon of July 26, 1930, a Methodist minister in Marion, Indiana, was summoned to perform an unscheduled marriage. Before him were Winton Dean and Mildred Wilson. Winton was 22 years old and Mildred was only 19 years old. They actually just had obtained a marriage license that very morning. And so I'm sure, as you can guess, they hurried to get married because Mildred found out in mid-July that she was 2 months pregnant.
Scandalous.
Her father as the rural Indiana folk would have put it, was ready to load up the shotgun if Witten failed to do the honorable thing.
Hardcore already.
So, you rural Indiana folk, I don't know. The newlyweds rented a room in Marion at the Seven Gables, which was a boarding house at 430 East 4th Street. And at the address on February 8th, 1931, Mildred gave birth to a healthy 8-pound boy who they named James Byron Dean. And between 1932 and 1936, they did move around a lot. It was the Great Depression, so we know what that means, that millions of families are going bankrupt. But luckily for the Dean family, Winton still had his weekly paycheck from the Veterans Administration, which also provided the family with medical care. So Mildred, she would read to James, she would sing, she would play music on a wind-up gramophone. She would act out, I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
Gramophone. She would act out nursery rhymes and tall tales from American folklore. It's a great mom. We'll just put it that way. She's a good mom. Was a good mom. On July 14th, 1940, Mildred died from ovarian cancer at the young age of only 29. So heartbroken James, he was 9 years old and he was shipped to live with his grandmother, and he was also to be raised by his aunt and uncle. I guess that with his wife's illness had depleted his finances and that he had neither the time nor the money to devote to the care of a child, so that's why Witten shipped James off. He kind of was like, you're too much work for me. Bye.
Lovely.
Yeah, he's not a fantastic dad. And there's even a quote from James Dean that said something like, I don't know what my father wanted from me, basically. During the summer of 1943, so 3 years after his mother's death, a vicious murder was reported all over the country. It occurred in downtown Indianapolis at the Claypole Hotel. An Army corporal was found slashed to death. And that was followed for a year, beginning in early 1944, by a series of sex murders in Fort Wayne. And neither the Indianapolis and the Fort Wayne killer was caught, and the people of Indiana were, according to a survey, frightened, ashamed, angry, and confused. And I bring up these crimes because it was precisely at this time that Dean found books and almanacs that provided stories like those his mom had told him. It was like an escape. So later, as his confidence with the family grew, he would entertain them with skits that he would act out with his mom, which I find that really sad for some reason. Dean loved to act out Billy the Kid because he learned about him in school and he felt like he related to him because Billy had also lost a parent. And during his adolescence, Dean sought guidance and companionship from a local Methodist pastor who appears to have influenced his later interest in bullfighting, car racing, and philosophy.
Interesting mashup.
I think from what I've read about it, and I read so much and listened to so much on James Dean, and I think he just had adrenaline addiction. I think that's what he got into those are kind of hardcore, not philosophy, but those are kind of hardcore hobbies to have.
Yeah.
Also bullfighting. It's like, what's your hobby? Bullfighting.
You definitely have to be an adrenaline junkie to enjoy that, because that to me is
the word I was looking for.
Terrifying.
Yeah, I'll pass. But I think too, Dean was also struggling to establish a sense of himself because he was always fighting constantly to win approval and affirmation. He wanted to excel at sports. He wanted to take the risks. He wanted to take the chances. And in acting, he got to assume the identity of another, giving him the chance to escape himself so he could actually, be someone else's personality. He could create someone else's personality. He could be somebody else.
That's sad.
He graduated from Fairmount High School in May of 1949. So later in the same year, he boarded a train to California to go study acting. There was an ad that was posted for student actors who wanted to earn $10 for the afternoon's work on this television commercial, and it was a Pepsi commercial. So basically, he got to dance around a jukebox for the second scene of the commercial. So Jerry Fairbanks, the producer, had been told to emphasize all-American teenagers in the close-ups, and no one looked more down-home than, he said, Jimmy Dean. He said, quote, he had the advantage of being older but looking younger. He had a softness one minute and a rebelliousness the next. And it was just that sort of lively appeal combined with a certain hint of the unexpected that remains nearly 50 years later in this black and white commercial. end quote.
Old. He had the advantage of being old but looking younger. Wasn't he like 20 years old?
He was. The fact that he died super young bothers me a lot. It also makes me think of Fonz. Didn't Fonz kind of have that appeal too, in a sense? The being older but looking younger.
I don't really know.
I never watched Happy Days.
I don't have any knowledge there.
Yeah, I don't watch Happy Days, or never did. But I feel like he, what is his name? Henry?
I remember the hair. And he had like a leather jacket and stuff. I don't know his name.
I know, it's kind of funny to look it up. Henry Winkler. Because I feel like in the show, Henry Winkler was a lot older than he portrayed. Like a decent amount older than he portrayed. I could be wrong. So after the commercial, he was offered a small role in Hill Number 1. And then he had a television debut in this dramatic role broadcast on March 25th, 1951. So over 3 years, he had a bunch of small parts, but he appeared in 3 major movie roles. So he appeared in Rebel Without a Cause in 1955, East of Eden, also in 1955, and Giant, 1956.
Did you watch them?
No. I should have, but let's just be lucky I finished this. I've had a lot going on, so you're right, I should have watched it, but I have a problem with really old movies.
Like you can't get interested in them?
Yeah, it's hard for me. Like I've never seen like Breakfast at Tiffany's. I've never seen Casablanca. I've never seen those popular movies.
Me either.
Not saying they're bad. I just never had an interest to be like, I'm going to watch that because everyone says it's good. Personal preference. Anywho. In 1954, Dean developed a serious interest in motorsport. So after filming for East of Eden, he bought a Triumph Tiger T110 motorcycle, and in March of 1955, just as East of Eden was being released, he purchased a Porsche 356 Super Speedster convertible.
Definitely an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, and also he has the money, why not?
True.
It was said about him, quote, "No matter how depressed he was, if Jimmy had a chance to get behind something that had terrific speed, he would laugh and come alive again," end quote. And in March of 1955, just before filming Rebel Without a Cause, he entered himself and the Speedster in the California Racing Club's Palm Springs Airport course meet. He won first place. Everybody figured it was just a publicity stunt, said one veteran sports car enthusiast. But Dean went crazy. He went out front and he left everybody. He was blasting, going like a bomb. On September 17th, 1955, it was Dean's last day of filming for Giant, and thanks to 6 months of steady film work, he had the money, like I said before. So what does he do? He impulsively traded in his Speedster for a $6,900 1955 Porsche 550 Spyder.
I wonder what that's the equivalent of today. $6,900.
Oh, I'm sure it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. Damn.
A lot.
So $6,900 in 1955 is equivalent to $85,740 today.
He was rolling in the doughs.
Wow.
It's a lot.
He got some money. And I know that when he was filming his movies, he wasn't allowed to do any racing. So I think that's why he impulsively bought this car, because he's like, my filming's wrapped. Now I can get that adrenaline again.
Too much of a liability while filming.
Exactly. That's why he wasn't allowed, basically. I mean, Rebel Without the name suits him very well. It really does. And he purchased the Porsche through Competition Motors in Hollywood. This was a dealership known for catering to serious enthusiasts rather than casual buyers. So basically, we know if you're serious, you're going to spend money at our place. So his car he gets, it's known for its sleek, low-slung aluminum body. It was very lightweight. It has a gleaming silver finish over it. The number 130 was painted in large black digits on the hood, the rear deck, and both of the doors. He had 2 red stripes that were painted over the rear wheel arches. And this is a common factory mark for racing identification, I guess. He also had the seats that were upholstered in red leather. And so from 1953 to 1956, there were only 90 Spyders that were produced, but Dean still wanted his Porsche to be unique. So he decides to turn to George Barris, who was a famous Hollywood car designer, and you'll actually recognize some of his work. He customized numerous cars that were used in movies. So he customized the Batmobile in the 1960s TV series. He did the Munsters. So like basically all the weird cars, George Barris. The designer upholstered the seats in tartan. That's why the 130 was painted on the doors, the bonnet, and the rear deck lid. And then he also wrote Little Bastard on the side, which was the nickname James Dean had famously given the car, as everybody knows. The engine was mounted in front of the rear axle, so meaning it had more balanced weight distribution, better traction, and precision handling. And according to those who knew Dean, the nickname reflected his sense of humor and his complicated relationship with authority. Because it was said throughout his life, he had been called difficult, defiant, stubborn, and embracing the phrase was his way of reclaiming it. So he turning the judgment of him into reality. So this is what you say about me, then I'll make it real. This is how I'm going to act. But of course, at the time, the name carried really no symbolic weight beyond personal expression. So like, you know how sailors name their ships, drivers would name their cars. So the very same day that Little Bastard got his custom paint, Dean was cruising the streets of Los Angeles and he sees actor Alec Guinness outside the Villa Capri restaurant. So he didn't want to pass up this opportunity to introduce himself. So he does. They chit chat. And then Guinness, he had this ominous feeling on seeing the Porsche and would later write in his diary, quote, "The sports car looks sinister to me, exhausted, hungry, feeling a little tempered in spite of Dean's kindness. I heard myself saying in a voice I could hardly recognize as my own, 'Please never get in it. If you get in that car, you will be found dead in it by this time next week.'"
Ooh.
He was also known to be a very superstitious man.
Yikes.
But Dean just laughs it off. He's kind of like, okay, whatever. Doesn't faze him. And at this point, Dean plans to race Little Bastard at an upcoming event in Salinas, California. And on the morning of September 30th, 1955, Dean set out with trusted companions, his Porsche mechanic, Rolf Weatherich, and stuntman Bill Hickman to help out. So their original plan was to tow Little Bastard to the races, but Rolf felt it would be better for Dean to get used to the Spyder and run the engine in it. So he's like, let's just drive it instead. So the drive unfolded without incident. He stopped, he rested, he was following the plan he had outlined. He actually got pulled over and got a speeding ticket that very same day, which I kind of feel like a little bit of a warning there. He stopped at Blackwell, and this moment will forever be in photographs. In the photographs, Dean he's leaning against the Porsche. He's looking confident, he's happy, he looks relaxed, he even has a cigarette in his hand. Just no sense of any type of disaster that's about to happen.
I remember that picture. I'm pretty sure a chick that I was friends with in high school had a huge thing for him, and I think she had the poster up on our wall of that photo.
Well, besides the crash photos, I believe that's his last photo. And that's what I mean, kind of like by Frozen in Time.
Mm-hmm.
That moment is captured right before everyone knows the accident. Did she have a crush on James Dean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
He's a good-looking man. He's a good-looking man.
He had great hair.
So on that fateful Friday, Rolf sat next to Dean while Hickman followed in his truck and trailer behind. And around 6 p.m., Dean was driving along Route 46, what they estimated about 85 miles per hour. I think they debunked that he was going less than that, but I think it's also a topic of debate. So again, they estimated about 85 miles per hour when Donald Turnipseed, a young student from California, he was driving a Ford two-door. He decided to make a sudden turn onto Route 41, and Donald was making a sudden left turn across Dean's path. So basically visibility at the intersection was limited. And then the Porsche, we know as being very long and narrow, we know being very low and narrow, it's easy to misjudge, or he may not have actually seen the car coming because it was so low to the ground. And Donald did say later that he did not see Dean's car until it was too late and there was no time to react.
They do say that silver cars are one of the most dangerous colors to have because they blend in with the concrete, with the pavement. So they are harder,
that, but I believe
harder to see. Yeah.
And especially being that low to the ground, like as you see in the pictures, it's a very low car. It's a very lightweight car.
And it was a convertible, right? So
yeah, it was convertible.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
And, you know, he's in this really big Ford two-door car. So the Porsche struck the Ford broadside, and the impact sent the Ford almost 40 feet down the road. And so the Spyder flipped a few times, landing on its wheels in a ditch. It actually ejected Rolf from the Porsche. But again, Dean, who was driving the car, which is also up for debate, they go back and forth of who was driving the car. I still believe Dean was the one driving the car. But he actually got trapped in the car, and he had his foot was stuck between the clutch and then the brake pedals. And Dean was actually pushed to the passenger side, and maybe the reason that he didn't go flying out of the car was because his foot was stuck.
That's awful.
Now I'm getting different sources. So it says that Dean was pronounced dead on arrival at the Paso Robles War Memorial Hospital at 6:20 p.m. And I've also seen where he sustained a broken neck, 2 broken arms, and a fractured skull, among other injuries. Basically, he immediately was killed. So he either was killed right away or he died upon the hospital. I've seen all different sources.
For his sake, I hope it was instant.
I'm hoping it was instant too, and it's not like they had emergency flight helicopters back in that time, and the hospital was, I think, like 30 minutes away. So either way, the whole situation was against them.
Yeah.
So I believe that what I said about his injuries, the broken neck, all that was right. But again, different sources if he died immediately or if he was killed arriving to the hospital. And he was only 24 years old.
Very sad.
Yeah, Rolf, the one that was thrown from the car, he survived, but he did have severe injuries. And then Donald, he sustained minor injuries, but I think that was because he was the one with the bigger car.
Right. Yeah, I mean, essentially what Dean was in was like a little tin can compared to that.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
As you know, the Porsche completely destroyed, and there's still debate on which one was to blame. Either Donald or Dean, still up for debate. I think it was just, I don't know, because again, if you turn left in front of someone, you don't see them. I still think that's your fault, but the fact that you didn't see it, like, I don't know. So that's why it's up for debate. Yeah, so I found this interesting, but according to a Central Coast article by Andrew Pridgeon, people ask whether Dean or anyone else in the situation would survive the type of crash in a newer Porsche. And the answer is actually yes, they would. James Dean's biographer and Porsche historian Lee Raskin said, quote, "Today's cars weigh more, have airbags, crumple zones, shoulder harnesses, airbags, a steel cage. It's completely different. The 2021 model weighs just over 3,200 pounds. That's 2,000 pounds more than Dean's. And features anti-lock brakes, stability control, front, side, overhead, and knee airbags, along with electronically monitored seat belts that hold the body in place in the event of an accident. Different times, different cars," end quote.
Wonder how many accidents it took for them to get it to where it is today.
Probably a lot. I mean, to be fair, I feel like convertibles on the freeway is probably one of the most dangerous cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you get in an accident, there's nothing up there to protect you. So I feel like, which I used to have a Mustang convertible. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a client the other day, and she has a 16-year-old daughter who has a boyfriend that has a little, I think, Mazda Miata or something like that, but it's a convertible. And all I could think about was, like, I would not let my kid get in that car. Oh, it sounds like a little death trap to me.
No, we were behind this guy in a freaking red Mustang convertible. I was like, I had that car in high school. It's a teenage girl. And you see this like older guy, this bald guy wearing a hat driving it. To be fair, I'm like, I just feel like this is a teenage car. And then Ryan's like, yeah, it must feel nice to feel the wind in your hat. Because he had no hair. So I want to say this crash was not mysterious, right? It's just kind of black and white. This is what happened. It was investigated. It was documented and explained through ordinary means. It was just an unfortunate accident. Like, there was no mechanical failure. The cause was just a moment of miscalculation compounded by road design and vehicle invisibility. And law enforcement treated the scene as they would any fatal accidents. The statements were taken, the evidence was collected, and then the wreckage was removed. And now we're going to get into the curse of little bastard. So you can share this with Tony later.
Yeah, I'm curious about this part, especially when he brought that up.
Now, basically, her partner doesn't understand how a car can be cursed, right? Is that what the understanding was?
If it was brand new.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying, when he had the car, I don't think it was cursed. Maybe it was because it was custom designed. Who knows?
Oh, so the cursed part comes after the accident?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes more sense. I think Tony was thinking that because of his accident, like it was cursed, and that's why he had his accident.
You can also argue that from the beginning, people could say it was cursed. Could have been cursed the moment he wrote Little Bastard on it, and he's a rebel himself, so maybe his car was being a rebel too.
Or that guy that had his little vision or whatever, like putting that intention toward it. Maybe that wasn't a great thing to do.
No, putting his superstitious feelings onto the car.
Mm-hmm.
It's like The Ring. We're gonna die in 7 days, basically.
Oh God, that movie.
Was that The Ring?
Yeah, the phone call.
You watched the video, yeah. You're gonna die in 7 days. He just did it in person. Dean's probably like, oh man, great to meet you. I want to be like you one day. You're a huge actor. And he's just like, you're gonna die.
So don't get in that car.
Okay, weirdo. It's not what I expected. Okay, so like I said, there's nothing weird about the accident. It was just unfortunate events. Really sad, unfortunate events. So the insurance company had declared the Spyder a total loss after the accident, and they paid Dean's dad fair market value for it before selling it through a junkyard to William F. Espridge. So basically, this is normal. This is what happens when a car is declared a total loss and the payoff of the beneficiary of the policy, which in this case was Dean's dad, which that's annoying, but it went to Dean's dad.
Very annoying. I don't like it.
Nope. So as the beneficiary, they own the car no matter what condition it's in. If it's there, barely there, doesn't matter. Here you go. And they can just do whatever they want. And as we know, since the car was destroyed, it makes sense that it would be given to a junkyard and to salvage it to see if they could get money back from the payout on the policy. And at the junkyard, the insurance company was able to make a deal with Dr. William. So that's how we get back to Dr. William. And that's how he comes into place. And he's a very wealthy surgeon. He wanted Little Bastard's engine to go into his own track car, which was a Lotus Mark 9. He called it a POTUS. So William had a friend who was also a doctor, Dr. Troy McHenry, who was also a wealthy surgeon. And Troy, ironically, had the same car that Dean did, a 55 Spyder. So Dr. William, he took the engine from Little Bastard for his Lotus, and he loans the transaxle and the rear swing arms from Little Bastard to Troy to use in his car. So both these doctors have their own cars from pieces of Little Bastard.
I see where this is going.
And both men were racing in the 1956 Pomona sports car races. Again, both in their own cars with parts of Little Bastard in it. Dr. William, he was coming around a corner and his wheel came off. And this isn't funny, but the wheel struck a Pomona police officer named Bob Miller in the head.
Oh my God, did he die?
He lived. Fortunately, he did live. Dr. William was able to control the vehicle though, so he didn't crash it. So despite losing the wheel, he did have control. So he obviously survived. Troy, who was just 15 minutes into the race, his car spun out, it smashed into a tree, and it killed him instantly. So I don't know. Coincidence? Curses? Who knows? Now we're going to talk about George Barris. Remember, he's the man that helped Dean customize his car, that did like the Batmobile, the monster car, that guy. And this is also up for debate. There's a lot of up for debates, and I'm sorry to keep saying that, but it's true. But we're not really sure how Barris actually acquired, like how he got a hold of Little Bastard, because there's not much information on it. Basically, there's a source that says he got it from Dean's dad, but regardless of how he got the car, like he got Little Bastard. He had basically what was left from the car besides the other parts I mentioned earlier that were sold to the doctors. So Barris, he basically had the shell of the car, he had the wheels, the tires, and even the steering wheel of Little Bastard. And his goal was to rebuild the car. And then when he was going to rebuild it, he was going to send it on a safety tour for the highway patrol at the request, and they wanted to use it for demonstrations all over the country, which is ironic. They call it a safety tour with this car. So when he buys the wrecked car, he brings it back to his workshop. The Porsche dropped off its trailer and actually broke a mechanic's leg.
Damn.
And there was one point where Barris said that the car came to life in his shop. It changed gears and then it crashed into a wall.
Yep. Sounds like it's pretty cursed to me.
Again, take these stories as you will. If you want to believe they're true, if they're not true, it's up to you. So Barris now agrees to let the car go on this nationwide safety tour. And on March 12, 1959, the car is in its third city of the tour. It's in Fresno. While it was in a highway patrol garage at 3158 Hamilton Avenue, a mysterious fire broke out that burned 2 tires and scorched the paint on the car. There was no damage to any other cars in that garage or property in that garage. Thankfully, no one was injured in that, and the cause of the fire is unknown. So Barris is kind of pissed because to make this car presentable, it's going to cost him a lot of money. Then a few weeks later, the car was said to fall off its stand and it crushed a teenager's legs.
Oh my gosh. It's time to get rid of the car, guys. At this point, like,
it's the parts from the car.
Yeah, the parts from the car. It's just spreading like wildfire.
Maybe that's what caused the fire. So after this, the car was being transported to Salinas. Remember, ironically, the city that Dean was trying to go for the races when he was killed. The brakes locked up on the truck that was transporting it, and not only did I know it sounds like I'm laughing, but I'm just saying because it's so ridiculous, but not only did the driver of the truck get thrown from the cab, but the cab broke loose from the back of the truck and it crushed him. So not only was he thrown, the car came down and crushed him.
Yeah, this is strange.
On its way to Oakland for more of the tour, the remnants of the repeatedly broken wreckage split in half and fell off yet another truck, causing a near-fatal accident on the California freeway.
This goes on and on.
And I didn't even write down all the things that have happened.
Wow.
Yeah. So Barris, he actually sold 2 of the tires to a car collector, and both reportedly blew at the same time, causing the new owner to veer off the road. They survived though. And then allegedly, someone broke into a place where it was being stored and they tried to steal the steering wheel, but instead he cut his arm like to the bone and it freaked him out so much he fled in panic.
I wish that would have happened to the son of a bitch that stole my catalytic converter.
You gotta start cursing your stuff. Be like, whoever touches this will be cursed. Have you seen The Mummy with Brendan Fraser?
Yeah, but like when it originally came out, so I forget a lot of it.
Oh, and the second one where he has his son Alex, and those 2 thieves are in there like going through the stuff, and he's like, don't touch it, that's cursed, that's cursed. So the guy's making fun of him. He's like, that's cursed, this is cursed, that's cursed. Like, that's how I feel right now.
Yeah, I never saw the second one, just the first one.
Second one's good.
Is it?
Surprisingly, I liked it better than the first one.
That's unusual.
I know. I also am a Brendan Fraser fan, so.
I was too back in the day. He didn't age very well.
No, but if you go into his history of what happened, it makes sense. And I feel for him so much.
I didn't realize something happened.
Yeah, I feel for him.
Oh, see, you never know.
All right, Brendan Fraser, unfortunately, this isn't about you, so we got to move on.
Moving on.
Also, according to Barris, another man who had acquired some of the salvaged metal of the car, he had fallen on extremely hard times. And I'm talking, he lost everything. He lost his home, wife, kids, his health. He was dying. And he calls Barris and he was like, you need to take this piece of Little Bastard I have. You need to take it back. Like, he was begging him. And according to Barris, the Spyder was returning from a traffic safety exhibit in Florida. It was in a sealed truck. And in Barris's book and in many TV interviews, he said that little bastard was being shipped back in a sealed boxcar. But when the train arrived in Los Angeles, Barris said he signed the manifest. He verified that the seal was intact, but the boxcar was empty. It's gone. Little bastard vanished.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird though. Despite $1 million reward for information being offered in 2005, the whereabouts of the Porsche 550 Spyder remained unknown. But our favorite person, good old Zach Baggins, he owns the transaxle, like the gearbox from Little Bastard, and he actually purchased it at an auction for $382,000.
Oh, God. Rich people piss me off. Like, that's what you're going to spend all your money on.
He has it, but if it's truly Little Bastard's gearbox, I've seen it. I've seen it at his museum.
Yeah, I was going to say if it's actually it.
Yeah, so he has this whole room that's dedicated to James Dean, and it's like behind a glass wall. This is from what I remember. I don't know if it's changed since then, because it's been a couple years, but it's just like a picture of the Spyder, and then the picture goes up, and then behind the glass is the part from Little Bastard, and he talks about it. He's like, I purchased it, even though its whereabouts pretty much unknown, I have this from it. And it's one of those, hey, you want to enter this room to be with a cursed object? That's up to you. Of course I did. So, in a sense, if it really is, it's pretty cool. I've seen it. I don't like him as a person, but his museum is pretty cool. I will give him that. It's a really cool museum. And he's got a lot of cool I won't say artifacts, but he's got a lot of cool haunted stuff in there and cursed stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'd like to see it.
So, if you ever go to Vegas, I'm going to take you. You got to do a night tour.
Patreon.com/. We haven't done that in so long.
It's only $5 to help support us. That's all. But it goes along the way. I feel like the more support we have, the more we can bring better podcasts.
That's true.
We're not here out to buy cursed objects like Mr. Baggins, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay.
But you said night tour is the way to go?
I feel like it's more spooky. I don't think there's anything different between a night tour and a day tour. I just feel like there's energy.
Yeah, I think I would prefer to do that for sure.
Like Peggy the doll is there. I looked her in the eyes. She said hi.
She said hello. It's me.
I was wondering.
If after all these years.
Yeah, because I told you when the workers enter Peggy's room, they have to say like hi Peggy, like bye Peggy. They be respectful.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of them was locking up one night, and then she's locking up Peggy's room, about to close the door, and the doll was like, wait. So she's like, what? The doll was like, bitch.
I like Peggy.
We don't like Peggy. Peggy is nothing but darkness. That there's no good haunt with. Have you never heard of Peggy the doll?
Mm-mm. Should we do an episode?
Podcasters that have done episodes with her, like people listening, have had issues. So
seriously?
Talk about at your own risk. Yes.
Ooh, I don't know if I want to gamble with fate that way.
Again, we're also giving two girls, one ghost to run for their money. So, and they claim to be the most haunted podcast in America. Not that I'm trying to be haunted. I'm just saying, you want to talk about the stuff that happens to us? Here you go.
Yeah, just go and watch the live that I just did with Occult Rejects, and you'll see it just never stops.
It was just so funny seeing a blank screen and your voice in the background going, God damn it.
Like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. The little fake picture of me is like lighting up as I'm talking.
I like how you had your drink out and Nick was like, you're drinking wine already this time of day? And you're like, electrolytes. Because I'm an old crone.
Oh, I'll have to. Are we going to do a Patreon after this?
Do you want to talk about it then?
I want to bring something up that I noticed after rewatching it that I didn't really notice because I was so locked in, When I was telling the story, I saw a lot of things I didn't notice while we were doing it. And yeah, I'll have to tell you about it.
Well, you'll tell the people of Patreon about it. We do a lot of banter on there. So anyway, back from the side quest. Join us on Patreon. Back from the side quest. So Dean's funeral was held on October 8th, 1955 at the Fairmont Friends Church in Fairmont, Indiana. The coffin remained closed to conceal the severe injuries to his upper torso and face. An estimated 600 mourners were in attendance, while another 2,400 fans gathered outside the church during the procession.
Wow.
And Dean's body is buried at Park Cemetery in Fairmount. It's less than a mile from where he was raised on his aunt and uncle's farm. The location of the crash did become a point of fixation for obvious reasons, and over time, it would be described as cursed ground. Like, visitors began arriving, the markers were being placed, the stories were circulating, and the intersection was no longer a site of traffic flow. It basically was a shrine. But what is often forgotten is how quickly normalcy returned. The road reopened, the traffic resumed, and the intersection continued serving its original purpose. The world moved forward even as the story froze in place. And that's Little Bastard.
Well, I think it's pretty undeniable that something's up with that car. I mean, that's a lot of coincidence, if not a lot of coincidence, which I don't know. I wonder if somebody hexed it or something at some point, like before he crashed it. I don't know. That's strange.
I mean, maybe the vehicle was pissed off that it crashed and got torn to pieces, and that was its way of saying, fuck you guys. I'm bringing you down. It's kind of like the story of Christine, right? Stephen King, Christine. Also makes me think of that a lot.
Or, I mean, what if it was James? Like, what if he kind of embodied the car and the parts or something, or his like essence was there or something and he was angry? I don't know. That doesn't really fit though, because he doesn't seem like he would have been the type of person to want to hurt other people. So,
I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Some do believe, though, that Barris fabricated stories as a way of keeping the car story alive.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, there's some truth to these stories. A lot of them are like allegedly. So it's kind of what you decide. But we know for sure what really happened was the two doctors and the race car. I mean, that in itself, to me, is okay. Something's up.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was like, it just keeps going and going, because I thought, dang, you've already said so much. What do you guys think? Do you think it was cursed? Do you think it was coincidence? Let us know.
Overall, though, his story is really sad, and I only went to a brief history of James Dean's history because it wasn't really about the history of James Dean, more about his car, but there's so much to his life.
Yeah.
There's so much I didn't even know about him. But again, it wasn't my era, but I still think that even if you don't watch his stuff, you say, oh yeah, James Dean, everyone knows who he is.
And for being so young, a lot happened in his life. That's pretty impressive.
There is a lot to his story, and it's still going to this day. So I think at least that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
That he's still an icon. Yeah. That's the story of Little Bastard.
Well, guys, thanks again for all the continued support. We love seeing our numbers going up. That always is very exciting. We had a minute there where we were like, okay, universe, stop testing us, but
we always prevail.
We always prevail. That's right. So yes, thanks for the support. You can find us on all the social medias at Weekly Bazaar Podcast. If you have any stories that you'd like us to share, you can email us at weeklybazaarpodcast@gmail.com. You can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/weeklybazaar. We upload blooper reels there. We have some chit chats just about our personal lives if you'd like to get to know us a little bit better. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, we really appreciate the support and thank you so much. Just being here means the world to us. So stay spooky, take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you next week. If it's weird,
we're going to talk about it.
Bye.